Here we are.
Here we are. Yay. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw us sneak in during the countdown or not. Things were acting kind of weird, and then also there was nothing, and then we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
Figuring out the right buttons to push is always a problem, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Still learning that new software. Still getting the hang of it.
Yep, it is... dressed a little fancier, getting ready for the group cruise.
Oh, you did? Well, I'm going very casual today. It is very chilly in Northern Ontario. I don't know where you guys are all streaming in or joining us from the live, but it is cold. Bruno and I just came in from the outside and we're like, ooh, it is chilly out there today.
Ooh. And so we've got a interesting day today. As far as the discussion topic, we've had a heck of a week when it comes to some new insights to health fears, at least for myself. And so it kind of made us wonder about a couple of things about the future of cruising for us, and some of you that also have the same debate with yourself is, when is it time to not cruise, or do you just cruise on forever and you fight through the health? Anyways, we want to talk about all that fun stuff today. So let's roll the credits and we'll come back and talk more about that.
Well, hello. We are Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Canucks.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today.
Exactly. This usually becomes a podcast on Monday morning. I think last week we actually forgot because we had such a crazy week with some health things and hospitals and stuff that it just didn't get done. So maybe it'll be 2 podcasts coming out this week if you're listening to this after the fact.
There you go.
Yeah. So, group cruise is not far away. I think it is 10 days from now. We're going to be flying down to Florida. And what are we, less than 2 weeks till we're on the cruise ship with everybody?
So excited. So excited. This is probably the furthest out I've ever packed for a cruise ever. I've been packing for the last couple of weeks, just gradually, but I'm pretty much all packed now, except for, the last minute stuff that you use every day. Cosmetic bags and stuff like that, trying to get out.
Yep. So on one hand, we're packing stuff up and getting things ready to go. On the other hand, I'm dealing with health issues, saying, how long can I cruise if I have to deal with health issues? So nothing scary. Nobody's in dramatic.
No, everything's okay.
So don't worry about us. We had a couple people reach out saying, oh my goodness, is something wrong?
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
It's not that bad. But when you have some bumps in the road with your health, it kind of gives you a bit of a, resets your priorities and what's important and what you see about your future. At least I had a little bit of one of those this week. So hoping to talk to all of you about that today and get your feedback on some of these questions. And as usual, we're going to say hi, everybody. But like last week, we're probably going to do 15, 20 minutes of saying hi to everybody, because especially a lot of people are excited to be on the group cruise who want to say hi to those people for sure. But first, I see that we've got a special one here. I see that Brian and Athena are here. I can't scroll for some reason.
Your screen's frozen. Again, he's still trying to get this new technology working. There he goes.
There we go. I think I've got it figured out now. So, coming up. So, recent Canucks content. That's a mouthful. This past week, you saw us in Jamaica and Grand Cayman.
Yes.
With Bruce and Tawny?
Yes.
It's kind of funny because you saw a little bit of Bruce and Tawny. They were across from us, across the hallway, kind of in the where the cabins were. And they were vlogging in the background. We've had people commenting saying, who are those people following you around while you're vlogging? So Bruce and Tawny are on a cruise right now. They haven't had a chance to see all the content and see themselves in the background. So they're going to have that surprise when they get home from the Caribbean Princess.
There you go.
If they get home from
Bruce
Bermuda.
is going to have to start doing a dress reveal on Tawny's outfits, because we got comments this week, somebody saying how much they love Tawny's outfit. So her dress. Yeah.
And we've had so many new people to the channel that love celebrity as well, that have been educating us. So we got 2 more videos coming out this week. The first one will be our sea day.
Yes.
So we kind of focus on what there is to do around the Celebrity Apex on a sea day. We did as much as we could that day. And then the last day is Perfect Day in Coco Cay, which was a really big surprise for me. We'll leave it there and we'll see what you think when we show you what happened in Perfect Day. And that's the content that's coming out. And Journey the Secret Word. We have an update.
Oh, we have a winner.
I'm not sure if I have the update written in here. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did update this part here. So this morning at 9 o'clock, our video came out for a winner to the Journey of the Secret Word.
For our Sun Princess vlog series that was released.
Yep. We were a little bit late on that only because of the health concerns we're going to talk about, kind of delayed things, but we did finally get it out this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually haven't reached out to the winner yet. So if anybody sees Annette wandering around the live out here, you might want to let her know that she won the luggage.
Not sure if she's seen the episode yet, but yes, we will email her later on tonight and let her know that a suitcase will be shipped to her address.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, she was the winner there. We had so many people. We had 353, I think that was the exact number.
Yeah.
And we had to spin the wheel 7 times this time to get enough people. So we have had lots of people commenting saying they were close. They were one of the finalists. They were 1 click away. Yeah. So yeah, it's always kind of exciting for us to spin it and see who's going to win. And yeah, it was, this time it was Annette's turn. And I look back to see Annette's information to get a hold of her once we're done the live. And she's done several contests before, so she's been trying and she won. So
that's great. So keep trying. If you didn't win this time, you might next time.
Exactly.
That's for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the secret word update, and when we get the last vlog out for the Celebrity Apex series,
mm-hmm.
we've been giving 2 weeks lately. Has been the rule of thumb that we've been giving. But 2 weeks after the next one comes out, we'll probably still be on a cruise, is what we're thinking.
Exactly.
So we're probably going to give like 3 weeks, at least till we get back from the 2 cruises that we're going on in early February.
Right.
So you're going to have a long time to get all the Apex and figure out what those 6 letters all add up to spell.
That's right.
I'm not even sure what they spell. I don't know. I might want to know what the next ones are for the group cruise and one after that, because I think I chose them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I got some good words for you.
Oh, he's trying to make it more difficult for you guys, more challenging.
Exactly. But they're not meteorological terms or anything like that. They're still cruise related.
Oh, okay.
So that's Journey to the Secret Word update and question and comment of the week. This one was just an informational one. There was a question of, Jill, do you use a steamer?
Mm-hmm.
You never have a wrinkle and love your taste in clothing. So what's your secret?
So I don't use a steamer. I will say that having a laundrette on board a ship is a huge plus for me. When we're on Princess, I can iron my clothes for the evening in the middle of the afternoon. Canard offers that service, able to do that. But cruises that don't have a laundry room, I try to iron everything before I go, and I roll everything in our suitcases. My dresses, all of it is rolled in trying to prevent wrinkles. And then the other thing I do is I do travel with a downy fabric releaser that I put in on the clothes. And while Mr. Canuck or I am showering, we have the clothes hanging in the shower to try to get the steam from the shower to help a bit. But those are all the tricks that I've tried in the past.
I think we did look it up one time to see if we could even bring a steamer onto a cruise ship, and our understanding was that they weren't allowed on the cruise ship.
Exactly. They aren't.
I know in the past people have mentioned they've done that, so I'm not sure if that was before the rules changed or they just happened to get lucky and no one caught it, but our understanding is you can't bring them on.
We have disembarked on quite a few cruises where as you're going away, there's a table set up with all the stuff that they've confiscated for the week, and sometimes I've seen like 15 steamers that they have just sort of taken out of people's luggage and put a name tag on, and people pick them up on their way off the ship because you're not allowed to have them in your cabin.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. There's the steamer.
Yeah.
And they like your clothing too? No comment on that? No?
Thank you.
If I was that successful with people commenting on my clothes, I would chalk it up to luck. That I just happen to pick the right thing out of the closet because there's no strategy to my dressing.
I was just going to say, can you tell me the last time you've gone to a store and picked something out?
I don't know. Usually when I try, I'm told that, no, you're not buying that. That's usually what I hear.
Oh, really?
I always try to pick outfits out for Mrs. Canuck. As you saw in the Jamaica video, I tried to pick out something. But no. She doesn't let me.
No.
Yeah. Trivia question of the week is, there it is. Question for you.
Okay,
this is getting into today's topic a little bit. What percentage of Canadians between the ages of 23 or 25 and 44 feel that the conventional approach to retirement, which is work until you're 65 and then travel the world, how many believe that is still a thing that they think is the right way to live your life?
What percentage of people from 22 to 44? Is that what you said?
Yep. They think that that's an outdated approach. How many people think that that's not the way to live their life?
A lot of them probably think it's
because we grew up in a generation where that was kind of the thing. You worked your whole life and you hope to have a retirement and then be able to travel. That was like a thing until you kind of have a shocking moment in your life like we did. Yeah.
I would say that's pretty a high percentage that people don't don't believe that now.
They
Like
don't believe that?
80%
The
don't
young,
believe that that's the way
the
to do it.
millennials are just traveling and they're doing all this
Well,
stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for other people, but I think that there's definitely a more of a society trend to, live your best life now. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your answer?
The answer? Ooh, Shannon's really close.
78%.
Kelly is really, really, really close.
75%. Yeah.
That number is now that of that younger generation that's growing up, and this is probably a good thing,
Yeah.
is that 74% believe that that's an outdated approach to how you should live your life and prioritize travel and retirement, is that it's not all about waiting till the end to do anything and working hard your whole life.
Right.
Although you still should work hard if you have a job. Trust me. But
speaking of as a supervisor as it is, he appreciates employees that works hard for sure. I mean, we've always worked hard, but we try to balance our work life with a play hard too, and travel hard and experience life and create memories throughout all those years.
Yeah, and we're going to probably get into this with our topic, but
yes, for sure.
For prioritizing travel dollars over dollars for other things,
Yeah.
Do you need that brand new car this year, or should you go on a trip to Europe? Do you need that new? Do you need that new snow machine? Or
he's getting really close to home. If you haven't clued in, guys, we've been debating: do we buy a new car or do we book another cruise? Yeah.
I think that by comparison, I'll remember forever waking up in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm not going to remember forever the car that I sat in driving to work. It just was a car, but that's all it was to me, right? So I think that's the difference, is what is long lasting and means something versus what is something that is just transitory in your life that you're going to replace one day, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with Mr. Canuck on this. We don't agree on many things, as most of you know, but this is definitely where our stars align. And as a couple, we have the same agreement. The priority for us is experiences and living our best life. It's not about what we own and the stuff that we can accumulate. As we, so we do drive a very old vehicle and put all of our spare pennies into traveling for sure.
It's 11 this year.
Our car's 11 years old. Wow. Yeah, it is. So, but it still drives Mr. Canuck to work every day. It drives me to the grocery store. It does what it needs. It drives us to the airport, which is the most important thing that it does.
That's all it needs to do,
that's
really.
All it needs to do. And so I guess maybe we're going to keep trying to drive it until it doesn't get us to that airport.
The day we don't make a cruise is, we're off buying a new car.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that would be, and that is our biggest fear, actually. We like we said, it's an 11-year-old car. Do we replace it before we have a breakdown on the side of the highway? Or, we're trying to maintain it, all those sort of things you do with ownership of a car. But yeah, as long as it gets us to where we want to go in life, that's good.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And Kelly's pulling at the purse string or the emotional strings now, waited too long, do it while you have good health, right? And that's the fear, right? That's the fear that everybody has. That
yeah.
Oh, I didn't put it up because I didn't have quick access to it. But yeah. Yeah. So that's the fear. So yeah, today's topic, I guess, is, and we didn't mean to scare anybody, but it really isn't about anything that we're saying we can't cruise anymore because we have health issues. We just have had at least I had a health scare that I actually was laying in a hospital bed thinking, okay, I'm not going to travel anymore if this is what life is like from this day forward, is what my brain, where I went, right? So I guess the update is right after the live, actually, last week, we went to see the grandkid. And then that night after the drive home, and it was a bad drive home in a snowstorm and white knuckled on the steering wheel, and I'm out of all the tension or whatever caused it. But I ended up with the worst headaches I've had in my entire life, to the point where I couldn't even be in a room with lights on. I had to be squinting my eyes and painkillers.
Yeah, he couldn't even really speak in complete sentences. He was in such, amount of pain. So we brought him to the ER on Monday and
Tuesday. I tried to get through it Monday and didn't work very well.
Sorry.
It got worse on Monday. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
I went to the ER and I was put on an IV drip for pain medication because the pain was so severe.
While they ran tests.
Did tests and all that fun stuff they do when you're in a hospital. So spent a better part of the day in the hospital. Came home with a whole new prescription of new pain meds, but also a new fear and reality that am I going to have to live with pain the rest of my life? And that made me think, okay, how much travel do I want to do if I'm uncomfortable all the time? And I know a lot of you, including Mrs. Canuck here, you deal with pain all the time and you found a way to manage that and still be able to enjoy your life. For me, this never had a lot of that experience in my life. It was like, I don't know how people do this. I'm not sure if I can do this. Yeah. I've got a group cruise coming up in 2 weeks and I can't get out of bed, was where my fear went, right?
Right. So yeah, this is new for Jerry. He has been extremely healthy throughout his adult life, has never had a CAT scan before in his life, all of those sort of things that, I have experienced. And I have shared with all of you that I live with a condition called trigeminal neuralgia, which causes me a significant amount of pain and has been crippling at times, and sometimes has changed how our travel looks. And we've had to cancel excursions because I've been in too much pain to do it, and all of that. So I guess this brought up the conversation this week amongst us and with friends when we were talking about, what does it look like when we're both dealing with health issues and, we're going to an airport to get on a cruise, and is it an enjoyable experience, or do you just stay home and avoid? Traveling takes a lot out of you. It's physically wearing. And, for us, it's not easy to get to a cruise. It's multiple airports, usually hotels, and, driving a component into it, flying component, all kinds of, luggage, stuff like that. Anyway, so we just started talking amongst ourselves, but also with really good friends. And we've all experienced health things that, are pretty common as people age, I guess is what I'll say. And so we're like, does it become your new normal and you can get used to it and just keep on doing what you love to do? Or does it sort of change your outlook and change the amount of time you want to travel, or how you travel, I guess was how we were looking at it too. Is there something that we can be doing to make travel easier as we age, I guess is the question.
Yeah, and kind of to close out the story with me, where we are right now, still pain right now as I'm talking to you in the back of my head, but it's a lot less than it was. I can actually function. I can open my eyes. I can do stuff around the house. I can edit videos again. I couldn't even do that for a few days. And we have one more test at the doctor's tomorrow. So hopefully that gives us a clean bill of health. And then we're smooth sailing into the group cruise. And hopefully this is all in behind me for now. But I was told that there is a hereditary condition there where there's going to be pain issues. And being in places where it's nice and warm and dry is preferable to places that are cold and damp. If you read between the lines there, so that's why I was pitching. Let's move to Arizona.
Yeah. It's yeah. And I mean, that's not the only component that we look at in the future when we look down the line of what does traveling look for us down, I mean, we've shared with a lot of you in the last little while that the Canadian dollar has hit a all-time low in the last week or so. So that sort of plays into the quantity of times that we travel and how we travel and how we get those dollars to contribute to supporting our cruise habit that we have. So there's another factor in what travel looks like as we retire.
Yeah, and so I'm curious, like, have you ever thought, has anybody out there ever thought, well, either A, I'm not going to be able to travel anymore because health is too much of a concern. Like, we've had people ask us questions about accessibility.
We have.
And it's interesting because we know of it and we see kind of what that means, but it's never really impacted us that we need an accessible cruise to cruise for us.
Right. We've stayed in an accessible cabin before because we had booked a fare on a cruise where it was just whatever cabin's available, and that was what was available. So they gave it to us. So we see that cruise ships do cater to people that need some sort of thing. But the getting to and from and all of that, how big of a challenge does it become, right?
Yeah. And so, like, do you have an expiry date? Have you like, we thought to work, no, not your life, your travel.
I can't believe you just said that.
I mean, your travel expiry. Like, people always think I'm nuts, especially those that are going to work into their 60s and retire later in life. When I say to them, I think I'm going to be finished traveling by the time I'm 65. I want to see everything I want to see in the world by the time I'm 65. And then after that point, I want to sit there and just watch Jeopardy on my couch. And that's all I want to do. And some people think I'm nuts.
I think he's nuts. I don't think that's going to happen.
Whereas other people think that they just want to start traveling when they're 65, where I'm thinking I want to have it out of the way, out of my system, and then that way. But yeah, so I'm curious. Does anybody else think that way, or is that just a me thing? Like I was saying that I look back thinking I was seeing some sort of a miracle now that we were on a catamaran once, and there's this older gentleman celebrating. I think it was his birthday.
It was his birthday.
He was up there dancing on the catamaran. So we've done that after a few
dancing,
drinks. We've done it in our 40s and even 50s now. He was turning
100.
100.
He turned 100 on the cruise, and he was up there dancing. He had a cane, but he was dancing with his cane.
On this catamaran, going through the waves.
You know what? He's our hero right now. Yeah. He really is, especially as we're dealing with, aging ailments that you develop. And I'm like, wow, good on him.
Yeah, I think that I have less of a chance of being able to do that than I do to make the Canadian bobsled team for the next Olympics. Like, I really think that's more of a miracle, that man in 100 be able to do that. Like, that is just amazing. So, yeah, so I'm curious if other people, what are you traveling now because you want to get it done while you're healthy? Are you traveling now because you are at that point in your life where you've been able to get there and you want to do it? Or are you just like, I don't know, like we're to the point where our priority is traveling.
It is.
Like we'll have time in our life to not travel and it'll come up whether we like it or not. But now we have a choice and we're making the choice to travel. Like that's how I feel about it, right?
Well, I mean, going back to more personal stuff that we talked about in the past, we lost my father and he was in his 50s when he passed away from cancer. And so that was a wake-up call for us who was in the middle of, just working and raising children and, doing what you had to do every day. And then we thought, we need to do a switch and sort of, make sure we experience our life that we have together with each other as a couple, but also to travel around the world as much as we can. I was very, one of the lasting conversations that I had with my father was when he shared about how thankful he was for all the traveling that he had done with my mom and their relationship that they had and how fortunate he felt for that and her sort of drive to keep him traveling and doing things. And so I think that became our priority for sure. Yeah. So life does sort of.
Yeah. And it's interesting I wonder as I get older, like people say, go on a vacation, you need to go and relax. Well, a lot of times the traveling doesn't feel very relaxing because it is a hectic thing. When you get to the destination.
Once you get there and get to do it.
Yeah. Like I kind of wish that it would be nice if we lived 5 minutes from a cruise port and you just drove and you got on the cruise ship because that'd be a dream because that would be relaxing.
So maybe there's some truth to why there's so many retired people living in Florida because it makes it a lot easier than living up where we live to get on a cruise ship, right?
Arizona. I need Arizona to put a cruise port somewhere in Arizona. That's what I need.
Yeah. There's no ocean in Arizona, so it could be a challenge.
How about on the Colorado River? They can start there and go down to the Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go to some of the comments because I see a whole bunch coming in. So I want to make sure.
Let us know what you guys are, I guess maybe we're also we wanted to have this conversation with you guys to see what is your strategies and what is your sort of motto or how do you see, your life as you age and traveling and all of that.
Athena and Brian are in agreement. I need to move somewhere warm.
Warm weather helps all things physical and mental. Absolutely, it does, for sure. We feel it every time we travel. It recharges those batteries.
Angela says that her husband is 64 and they're just
starting to travel. They'll enjoy it, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I would have to say that most of the people that we know our age, or at least in our sphere of friends, maybe some family, think we're a little bit crazy.
Yes.
That we travel as much as we do.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt that when I was working for the school board and all of my coworkers would be like, what trip are you going on now? And and we would go on 3 or 4 while I was working a year. And, most people don't do that. But again, we were driving the 10, 11-year-old vehicle and being happy to travel. So what your priorities are in life.
Exactly. Yeah, I did the math the other day because we're coming up on our 50th cruise. And you should probably close your ears for this. I'm pretty sure that we've paid more for traveling and cruising than we have for our house that we're sitting in.
Oh, I agree. I know that we have for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So again, we could have a bigger home and newer things and not travel and just enjoy that. And for some people, that's quite happy for them. They don't want to travel. They like being in their home in their own little space and not going anywhere. But for us, we just find it's so rewarding to travel. And like Jerry said, we were on our first Europe cruise and we woke up and we were in Lisbon and we walked out on the deck and we looked up at the, city in front of us. And it was just gorgeous. And we were just so appreciative. And of course, it was just after COVID. So that probably played a little part into it too. And we just looked at each other and we both had tears in our eyes saying how grateful we are for the life that we've been able to create for ourselves as a couple. And, and the world that was now safe again to cruise again. And we just felt overwhelmed with the emotions for being able to appreciate the journey that we were on, for sure.
For sure. We've got Anna saying that she's going to travel until she can't with health issues. Peggy saying that she's traveling and staying healthy is the plan. 65 and still kicking.
That's right. Be healthy and keep doing it. Right.
And the more we travel, the more we want to travel is what Kim's saying. That dealing with aging and health issues as well.
I agree with you, Kim. You know, Jerry says, "Oh, I think we're going to get it all done, and then at 65, stay at home." I'm like, "No, we aren't." I don't agree with them at all. I'm going to be dragging them along, I'm sure, as long as we both can still enjoy it. Because the more I travel, the more my list grows as to where I want to go. I keep adding more bucket list places. If you asked me 10 years ago where my top 5 were, you know, now I've got like a list of 20 instead of 5.
Caroline is saying travel now to give her kids amazing experiences. They're still young. Want them to travel as long as I can. My mom goes on a cruise with us, though. She's an 83.
That's awesome, Carolyn. And I so agree with you. I mean, I think one of the best gifts that we gave our children was to travel with them as much as we could afford to at the time, and then let them sort of catch that bug. And I feel like I inherited that from my mother. My mother loves to travel, always has. And so I traveled relatively frequently as a child, and we sort of paid that forward with our kids as much as we could, and with the help of family members. And now they've caught the bug and they're doing their own traveling, right?
Yeah, and I used to watch my parents go off. They go off and do, you know, trips to Vegas. They would do all-inclusive experiences in the Caribbean, that type of thing. So I always grew up as a kid thinking, hey, I want to be an adult one day too and go on vacation. So it's kind of like it feels like it's a reward. It's something you work towards. And
well, you do. We all work hard.
And Kylie is saying that she's been in cancer treatment for 6 years with degrees of pain.
Personal thing, you know, your limits and rest. Meds are great to know how to work, and yet you still, it's funny you say that. So I was trying to sort of share that with Jerry, because I've been living with trigeminal neuralgia now for more than a half a dozen years. And, you know, I travel with a cosmetic bag just full of medicine. Sometimes I don't open it the whole cruise. I don't need it. And then some more times I'm relying on it every day. And so as we're dealing with his new health issues, I'm like, you will get a new baseline normal as to what you can do in travel, and it just changes it. But for someone who's never taken medications, never spent hardly any time at the doctor's or medical facility, I guess it sort of was a scary wake up for him, because he's not used to him being sick. He's kind of more used to me having to go to the hospital, but not him.
Yeah, I'm used to being more the caregiver or motivator to, like, let's make you feel better and take you on another cruise. Yeah. I'm not used to having to do it for myself.
And it does change. Like, I mean, we went away on one cruise quite a few years ago when I was dealing with extreme pain. And, you know, how that cruise looked like from when we booked it to when we got on it because of my pain was totally different. You know, we got on a cruise, and every morning Jerry walked me to the Lido deck. I found a chair and I just sat there and read. I read 7 books in 7 days. That's pretty much all I could do at the time. And, you know, he just went and got me food and snacks and treated me like a queen. And we didn't do an excursion because I couldn't do it. We didn't dance because that was too much of a challenge, but I still had a wonderful cruise because, you know, we made it work for me in what I could do at the time.
Ironically, even though it's not today's topic, that is the underlying theme that I always tell people, that you can cruise however you want. Yeah. You want to do nothing for 7 days and sit in a lounger and just have a cocktail and some food, you can do that. You want to be up and doing every excursion and partying and being at the events and being all around the ship and screaming and going wild, you can do that too.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can cater a cruise to what your needs are and what your wants are and what your energy level is, I guess.
And Joan says something very interesting that kind of comes into play too, is health insurance becomes a problem. And I'm not sure how this is around the rest of the world, but I know in Canada, a lot of people, when they start reaching into their 70s and definitely 80s, health insurance to go away and travel outside the country gets very expensive to the point where it's prohibitive from even traveling. Yeah,
every time you turn another 5 years older, it seems to go up quite a bit more expensive, that we've heard from friends and family and a lot of followers that, you know, that just had a 70th birthday, my insurance has gone up, just had a 75th, my insurance has gone up, just had an 80th. It's really expensive. So that it becomes a budgeting thing, because you have to budget not only the cost of the cruise, the airfare, all of that. The insurance becomes expensive if you can even get it.
And Kat brings up an interesting point. She says, travel to Europe when you're in good health. It's harder for older folks to get around.
Yeah, well, we definitely feel like when we were in Europe, we definitely walked more and were more physically active than what we are, say, on a Caribbean cruise. So that's a really good point.
And but I also think it's an important point to maybe if you are trying to prioritize travel throughout your life,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe there's some trips you need to do earlier in life, and there's some that can hold off because they're maybe not as physical, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do something that's going to hike you into the jungle or up the mountains or do some more that activity. Then do that when you're younger, and save the ones that are sitting and relaxing.
Yeah.
For an old, it depends on what kind of shape you're in, really. Some people are 20 years older than me, and they can do twice as much as I can do.
Well, I mean, it comes to any type of travel. I mean, when we were in our 20s, it was nothing for us to go with a tent and go camping somewhere in the middle of nowhere and sleep on the ground. There's no way that my body would allow that now, not without having a chiropractor with me the whole time.
Kim has got a plan. She's thinking of, rather than retiring, they'll start another business that involves travel.
There you go.
That way we can get the best of both worlds.
There you go.
The only problem is what I find, and I'm terrible one to say this because I have a million different hobbies and ideas, but then you're still kind of working. Even though it's a hobby, you're still working, right? The world of not doing anything but just traveling, that's, some days appeals to me. Other days I have too many ideas that I can't do it. And the more spare time I have, the more things I want to do is how I feel. Maybe that's how most retired people feel. I'm not there yet, but I kind of feel that's where my space will be.
Right.
You're retired. Is that how you feel? Or we're opposite on this, I think. The more relaxed time she has, the more she wants.
Yeah, Jerry and I are sort of living in a different world right now. He's working, so hard, and I'm sort of taking more time for myself because I have been dealing with medical issues. But I'm in the best health I've been since I retired from my full-time job than I was for the last 10 years that I was working with the school. And so taking it easy for me at home and doing things at a different pace has given me an extra boost in traveling and wanting to do things.
Gail's saying that she's had heart surgery twice, now a pacemaker number 7.
Wow.
And she just says that you have to think about things that are going to have an impact on you, staying away from germs or stuff that's going to stir up our asthma.
Yeah.
Have the travel insurance when you travel.
Travel insurance is a must.
I guess what I'm hearing is you learn to adapt.
You do.
To your new normal,
That's
right?
what I've been trying to tell them all week, that you have to adapt.
But every time I shake my head, my new normal reminds me it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, Vishal says she understands. Doctor told me not to go on a cruise in Holland, America in May.
I told him I would be back in June.
For my open heart surgery. So
and to follow my passion, and that helps my mental health. Well, and that's a huge component for it, for sure. When you're dealing with, health issues and chronic health issues, your mental health of it, that really, you need to do whatever it takes to be able to handle it. Yeah, for sure.
And Janine is saying insurance becomes a factor for Canadians over 70. Also, some cruise lines have excursion restrictions, which we kind of found out recently. So that is a thing. We just
found that out. So yeah, that is something to look into for sure. There are certain things you won't be able to do.
Kelly says, take care and must learn how to accept new limitations.
And go for it. Never give up.
Kelly should know I'm stubborn, I'm either running at my full speed or I'm cranky because I'm not full speed. Would that be fair assessment?
That's a very fair assessment. So that's been part of my problem with him this week, is trying to get him to sort of figure out how this works. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and Bruce is trying to motivate me to retire, I think he said.
The flip side is until you retire, you don't have the time. Sorry, you just took away the comment.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have the time for extended journeys. It's true. That is the challenge, right? We're very fortunate that Jerry does have a pretty great full-time job that does give him really good holidays. And so he is able to do it more than a lot of people in their jobs, for sure. We appreciate that.
Twyla says she's looking forward to talking about this on our group cruise because she's going to be there with us. So,
By the way, cruising is the most accessible way of traveling. Thank you, Twyla, for that. Yeah, we do. We are interested to talk to you about that because, once you get on the cruise, it is the most, or it feels like it might be more accessible than other means of transport or traveling, for sure.
Fjord Lover says needs surgery and rehab, which is why they did the cruise in September. Since then, I've been having mobility issues traveling as long as I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. And I've been at the airports and at the cruises, and I watch people as they're getting around and they're having mobility issues. And I'll be honest, I have times where I'm like, when I get to that point, I'm not sure I want to do that. That looks like a lot of work. So is the travel draw, is it still there enough that you're worth going through that, right?
Yeah, I think you have to be able to still appreciate it while you're there and not feel like it was so much work to do it that you couldn't enjoy it. So that would be definitely the time switch for me, for sure.
Yep. And then the other issue, Brad brings up an interesting point. He talks about travel more at 40. Health issues and cost of living makes it prohibitive. And as you get older and retire and you start to maybe run out of money or your pension is all you have left, it does become more of a challenge. So, yeah, you want to go on those extended journeys that last a month. But if you don't have the money in the bank or the job to pay for it anymore.
But like Brad's talking about having it when you're still, young and working and paying off mortgages and raising children and all of those things we did. I mean, we traveled as much as we could when we were doing all those things and had mortgage payments and, all the expenses of life, everyday life. And it does sort of limit it. And then, fast forward to where we are now and the children are on their own and the mortgage is paid for. We can travel more. Let's just hope that the health stays with it.
Glenn and Charlene are saying retiring in 2 months, they can travel to places they wanted to go before.
Yeah.
You never know about the future, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Charlene. And what's this? Using our work insurance process, I'm not sure, from the GTA.
You're not reading it to anybody else, Jerry. You got to put it on the screen.
Oh, I know, but I'm looking to see if I was going to put it on the screen.
Well, it's dead air right now.
And we've got Kim.
Okay.
Arizona, pass form. You can also scroll to your discussions if you have been 126 degrees in Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's the problem with Arizona is it's nice at this time of year, but it is not very nice in the middle of summer when the runways are melting at the airport. Then it gets really, 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 really cold or really, really, really hot. There's a new problem. My flight's been delayed. I can't get to my cruise because my plane is getting stuck in the runway because it's melting. We don't have that problem.
Yeah, that's definitely not a problem we have.
We got Christine, who is hubby will be 75, going to be 70 this year, still traveling, booked into the end of 26 right now.
Health-wise, pretty good.
Yeah,
travel as long as the money and health are there, yeah.
And then that's the funny thing is I was looking at cruises like farther out into like 27, for example, this morning, and I'm like, I don't know, what's my health be like that far down the road? Do I want to book a cruise, right? That's my fear.
That's hard for us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we've got Angela, third MSC cruise to Europe, plan to explore Canada at an older age.
Okay.
There you go. And the farm, sell your house and move somewhere warm. Do you need to stay where you are? Well, my job's here, so I kind of got to stay here.
Yeah, until Jerry can really retire, that isn't an option. But, but there is commitments here too with family, right? And so we'll see how that plays out. We're not saying no. It is in our head for sure.
Yeah. And Nancy's saying that her father died early too. He never got to retire. So her husband and I started traveling when we were still working. Mm-hmm. Now retired, and we picked it up a notch.
Nice, Nancy. Yeah, it sounds very similar to our experience. Mm-hmm.
And Julie wants to travel as much as possible before possible health concerns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's the plan. Mm-hmm. And we got Brenda here. Change in healthier diet, walking outside of home, treadmill. All of which we've been doing.
We have.
But the problem I found is when all of a sudden you have that health scare or something happens, all of a sudden I'm off of the routine. So the things I was trying to do to get healthy, the health problem takes it away. So you got to work back into it again. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a sick, when you're younger, you don't think of that. It's like, oh, I'll exercise and get in better shape and lose weight and there's no problem.
But now,
you do that and that could cause a new injury.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to think part of the problem that Jerry was having was maybe doing too much exercise on the treadmill. So there's a balance there you have to do.
Yep. Yep. And Richard is saying also that it's about traveling as long as you can afford to. And his insurance said mobility, just turned 35, but not retired yet.
I like my job and it pays for the travel, which is great. Yeah.
There you go. I've said this actually before to our children. Cruise till I die. If I die on board, toss me overboard. It's funny.
He has said that to our children on cruises with them.
And it's not to be morbid, but I really have said, you know what? If I pass away on a cruise, I probably passed away in like the happiest spot I could.
Doing what I love. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as it still is a love. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for sure. Wilma and John from Kirky, 58 and 63, continue traveling for as long as physically possible. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't see a lot of people that are in my camp of like, I'm stopping at 65.
No, you're ridiculous. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Trevor says that he is
41. Has been traveling since I was 19. For me, it's getting away from the work and life's travel and life stresses. Travel while you can, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't wait. Yep.
And Kylie is saying, I can't see a time where we won't travel. It may change over time, but it's in our blood.
Yeah. We are true nomads. You are, Kylie, for sure.
Dolla's trying to get me to move to Florida.
Move to Florida, the warm weather and a short drive to cruise ports. See, I agree.
Dolla's got to get rid of the humidity, though. That's the problem. I hear that's a problem in Florida.
Oh, funny.
And also, a second set of vloggers are here saying hi.
Hi, Cruise Boys. Thanks for joining.
Yes. And
Welcome.
And Jimmy has a strategy for us to follow along here.
My strategy: a healthy lifestyle, diet, and exercise regularly. Age is just a number, but if you don't take care of your health, then aches and pains are worse and will limit how long you are able to travel. Very true. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And it's funny, we were just discussing this morning, believe it or not, about the group cruise. And I said, I want to make a point that like every morning I'm getting up and I'm like walking around the jogging track for an hour and getting some exercise and wearing off some of those calories or drinks and, or the treadmill or whatever. And
you guys don't see, because when we're vlogging, we usually don't do the treadmill or the gym or whatever, but we do every single day at home. But we usually take a break from it when we're on vacation. But now we're on vacation more often, so we're like, we can't take a vacation from it every time we get on a cruise ship. We have to keep that routine going and do an hour walking on treadmill or pool decks or something every day. Especially, not so much feel like we have to do that when you're doing a European cruise, but definitely in the Caribbean, where it's a lot of sun tanning and hot tubs or reading a book, pool deck, and having a drink.
Wonderful Life says, when we're on a cruise, we're about to complain about slow service or long line at a buffet. We realize that they just catch themselves that they're fortunate to be there in the first place on a cruise.
So true. I can't tell you how many times Jerry and I have had that conversation just off camera, but we have said it on camera a few times too. But yeah, we are very fortunate to live the life we have, and we don't take it for granted at all.
And Baylor Girl saying, we finally got all 3 kids out of college. They're debt free.
That's lovely.
Have the funds to spend on the cruises, but they're keeping the older cars
18 and 8 until the wheels fall off.
That's kind of where we're at. True. Yeah.
Very similar to us.
Yeah. If you're ever going to an airport and you see us hitchhiking, our car stopped working, but we're still trying to make the cruise. Okay. That is the plan.
We are booking our airfares a little bit closer to home. Like, we used to drive to Toronto and Detroit frequently to get on our airfare. Now that our car's 11 years old, we're like, let's book out of the local airports a little bit more. I think it's still cheaper than having to put $50,000 into a new car.
Yep. Pam is making my knees hurt.
My wake-up call was last year when I had a full knee replacement at age 56. Oh no, I'm retiring next month and have several cruises planned. I want to travel now while I can, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Kevin is saying that he's trying to travel as much as he can before retirement. We never know when mobility and financial situations might impact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you never know. Like, you
don't.
Nobody saw the whole COVID cruise pause coming, right? Like, like you don't know what's in your future. It could be something of your own doing or something of someone else's doing that causes you not to be able to travel for whatever reason or to get to wherever you want, right? There's some places in the world, but maybe we won't be able to travel to another in the future because of what's going on politically or socially. So,
well, that's true. That changes too, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kylie feels your pain, I think.
My first aid medication bag is literally a small A&E. Yeah, I think mine gets like that too. And it every time I repack, I put something extra in that I didn't have the time before. So I actually just changed it to a bigger cosmetic bag this week. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just gonna say mine's gonna have to change soon then, because usually I'm like, I got a couple Tylenol, I should be good for the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, my headaches used to be self-induced from too much fun on the cruise. So living in a new world. Mm-hmm. If you're going to get a headache anyways, you might as well have it for a fun reason, right?
There you go. There's your strategy for the group cruise.
The new motto, yep. Be my manly man. 55, plan to travel as much as often as I can, making memories together and enjoying their life together is a priority.
Yeah. His early retirement will help us with this as well, for sure. Absolutely.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, without a doubt. And Peter is watching from Onboard, the Queen Victoria, sailing, voyaging in South America.
Oh, Peter,
that's awesome.
That's wonderful. Have a fabulous trip.
The opposite side. I'm not sure we've ever had anybody. We've had people from mainland South America, but nobody cruising around South America.
Yeah, there you go. That's wonderful.
And Julia saying,
definitely want to travel as much as possible before we can't. Also want to move to Florida because the Midwest winters are more difficult as we get older. Yes.
yes.
I know. There was a while there where Canada was looking at buying out or taking over a Caribbean island. Remember that? And we really wanted them to do so, but it didn't happen. It'd be really nice if we had a warm place in Canada that we could retire to.
Yep. We should try to conquer San Juan.
It becomes very difficult traveling at relocating to somewhere warm when you have to leave your home country. Yeah, it becomes a higher challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie, hoping I feel better.
Thanks.
And Astro, done years of cruising, just finished the 58-day Japan.
Wow, grand finale. Now at my age and the cost of travel, I'm going to explore my country, Canada. Thanks for the great videos. That's wonderful. You know what? And that is wonderful. We're very fortunate where we live in Canada. There's such beauty right around us in Canada. And we just fell in love with cruising through Canada in the last year.
Patricia saying severe arthritis affecting mobility, still traveling and cruising with modifications. So uses cane as needed in a wheelchair for longer distances. Still going though.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah, we were talking about all our issues with pain and getting older, and how we're going to keep traveling. We were talking to friends of ours about booking a cruise and traveling together, and I said, no problem, just let me know when you want to book, and I'll book us 4 wheelchairs to get onto the plane so we can travel still.
We were sort of saying that tongue in cheek, but there could be a day where that's the reality, It's we're all at the age where we're dealing with some sort of physical limitation. Anyways, but luckily, we're not at that point yet, I should say.
Mm-hmm. And do something that you love, Kim is telling me, for your job. Never work a day in your life. So I do that. I say that I am lucky to have a job that I go to every day and I absolutely love every minute that I'm there.
Yeah.
But the problem, I guess, is that I found something I love more, which is traveling and seeing the world.
Yeah, but I think that's what she was referring to about having a travel business where she,
exactly,
has the regular one. And we definitely live by that model. And that's why Jerry became a travel agent as a side hobby, and the Cruising Canucks sort of came from that love, obviously. And this is sort of our retirement job. Jerry's still working the real job right now as we wean this into our retirement job.
Mary they're in their mid-70s and still travel independently in Europe each year.
Nice.
Adjusted their walking versus taxi time when necessary.
Yeah.
We always allow time for breakfast to remain flexible.
That's nice. Yeah.
There you go. And we're developing those strategies now. Like I remember last time we were in Rome, we did a lot of walking, and it's like, you know what? We'll just get an Uber and we'll go back to the hotel instead of walking the extra hour back to the hotel. We, in the past, we would have probably just walked it. Yeah. Like, you know what? We don't really need to for the
we don't want to throw our back out.
Yeah, for the $10 Uber ride. Maybe sometimes you gotta have that balance. It comes back to that balance thing, right? Yeah. You're on thousands of dollars on a trip. A $10 Uber is not going to kill you, so you're in good shape to go the next day and keep doing things, right? So I think that's important.
Yeah.
And Kelly is saying too, remember to read every line of your insurance policy.
Yeah.
Going to emergency can nil your policy automatically.
Yes, it can. That's for sure. If you have taken out private insurance for traveling, that is absolutely the case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you have to share your outfit links. Love the sweatshirt you're wearing. You said you were dressing down and you already outdressed me.
Well, actually, both of our outfits today that you're seeing came from the same store. It was from our grocery store, the Rome's independent grocery store. It's both Joe Fresh products that we're wearing right now. Yeah. There you go. There's a little plug.
And Pam is saying that you nailed it. Mental health is number one, and humans will seen and never will prevail.
That's right. Nurse for 26 years and counting. Nice, Pam.
Yeah. The mental health
component is definitely the strongest point.
Yeah, as important as the physical side of things, right? Yeah, exactly. So. Man, we got like 15 minutes of comments left. I still see. We're that far behind, and we're over.
Let's go a little bit longer.
Go a little bit longer.
Sure.
Say hi to people.
Yeah.
And
it's a great. Obviously, people have
lots to share.
And we love the engagement, so we want to share your comments.
A Global Adventure is saying, I took several Queen Mary 2 over the last several months. It seemed like a lot of people were basically in a nursing home. One guy had sores bleeding in his wife with no regard for the other. Ooh.
Oh wow! Yeah, so we don't want to be at that stage for sure. That seems. Sad.
Peggy's saying too far hard to book cruises too far in advance. You'll never know your health concerns. So I guess that's why either you book the ones, the $1 deals that you see come up for deposits
On Holland America.
You're not afraid to book those a couple years out because you can.
But it is definitely, Peggy, it's something that we've been dealing with for sure. I know a lot of our followers and patron members especially are booking cruises out 2 or 3 years ahead of time. And I am very hesitant of that just because I know how we the health that I've been dealing with and life and situations. So yeah, I much prefer to be the last minute booker when it comes to, book a cruise and go on it in a month or two. And that makes me feel like, okay, we'll be able to do this because it's coming up in a few months. Not just health, but other things in life, right?
Kylie is preaching to the choir. If we're talking new hometown, London is very mild all year long. Gets cold once in a while, and you can just pop over to the Spain or the Canaries.
Just saying. Love your just saying. Yeah.
I'd move to Europe tomorrow, especially if I could do my job remotely.
Yes.
Yep.
Can you work that out?
If I can work that out, I'm there. When you pop over to Spain or the Canaries, you can just stop in and say hi to us.
There you go. That'd be lovely.
Although London would be nice. I really liked the British Isles in general. Yeah. Ireland. Yeah. The UK area is wonderful. Spain. Portugal is wonderful as well. Mm-hmm. And James and Kimmy Cat are saying travel as much as you can because tomorrow's never promised.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Very good point.
And let's see, live. And live life to the fullest, Walter's saying, because you never know. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting through some of these.
Okay.
And physical therapy makes a difference, Eugene is saying. Treadmill not always the best for knee problems until you get into your triple-digit birthdays. You're not old.
There you go.
Wow.
Keep doing what you want until you can't. Good strategy. Good, yeah.
I'm a spreadsheet planner type of guy, so of course I've got a spreadsheet planning out my retirement all the way out into my later years. It doesn't go up to triple digits.
It doesn't?
No. Never thought of that, to tell you the truth.
Are we gonna run out of money, Mr. Canuck?
Are we gonna run out of money or time?
Yeah.
No, that's the debate, of course, as you get older.
Yeah, don't you kind of wish you had a little look into the future for planning purposes, financially planning purposes.
Cruise boys are here saying that they're balancing health and fitness with cruising. They did over 2 cruises and lost weight.
Nice.
Mix of watching food, visiting the gym, and still had a great time.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and that is definitely a new strategy that we're going to try to adapt into our cruising experience while we're there. We've sort of talked a lot about that privately, and we need to do that.
One of the killers I find is those delicious little scrumptious warm buns that they bring to the dinner table every night.
I know.
Like we used to always
carbs.
Just start eating all that bread until it's gone, right?
Yeah, we don't. For me, definitely, it's a carb issue for sure. I love the carbs. Yeah.
For me, it's a sweet issue. I love the chocolate.
Yeah. If you're coming on the group cruise with us in a few weeks and you can't find Mr. Canuck, just go to the Dutch Cafe. He'll be there. That is his kryptonite when he's on Holland America cruise.
How about tip of the week for those going on the group cruise? Is that, and you're going to see this and you think I'm making it up. I'm not. That the cookies in the Dutch Cafe are bigger on the first day than they are on the last. So go the first day, you get cookies this big. On the last day, they're this big. So
that's only on the cruises that you're on when you're with Mr. Canuck, because they see him coming the first day and then they're like, we got to make these smaller. We're going to run out of the ingredients. So it's only if you're with him. I'm sure the rest of you haven't had that problem.
Elfina is saying the traveling, she's 18.
Nice.
And going to Barbados for the weekend was just normal. Now having the privilege of traveling to Europe, Norway, Switzerland is a dream come true.
Yeah, beautiful.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, there's the update for you. You had mentioned this. Christine was talking to buy Turks and Caicos, I think.
Yeah. See, why didn't they do that?
Yeah,
Come on, Canadians.
We could go to Grand Turk all the time. The only problem is Turks and Caicos is pretty small. And we'd end up with all the Canadians on the island because nobody's going to want to be here.
We'd have to build 30-story condominiums for us to all house in. But yeah, we really do need to get our next prime minister on board with this campaign. Get me a warm retirement place.
The cruise boys say they're still trying to get over in Cruise Canada.
Oh, you have to do it. It is beautiful. I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but it's very beautiful.
I'm going to ruffle some feathers.
Oh.
But I'm going to say do Eastern Canada. You're going to see
Yeah.
more of the authentic Canada. It's going to be priced really well. It's not going to be
As opposed to taking a cruise out of BC,
Alaska.
out of BC and going to
I
Alaska.
know,
That is our sort of experience or belief for sure. It's beautiful.
Especially if Canada's the focus, right? Because Alaska isn't Canada, even though Vancouver is.
Even though it goes out of Vancouver.
But if you want to see Canada, Eastern Canada is the way to go for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat says, we loved Canada, New England cruise. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Following that up. So
there you go.
So I think we're well over our time.
Yes.
So I think even though we've got more comments coming in, it's been a good topic. Obviously, we have a lot of people that are really, really wanting to talk more about it. I got Kat's comment stuck on the screen for some reason.
I just
There we go.
I just see one comment near the end that Nicholas is asking a question about the Sun Princess and said he's going on the cruise in the Mediterranean this year, but I'm worried about getting out of shape without access to healthy foods. Are there many healthy options on the Sun Princess? And I will say yes. I felt like there were many healthy options. I'm not saying that I chose them, but there was. I think you will be well covered in that. I thought the buffet had a good mixture of really good salads and fruit and healthy options every day, all times throughout the day. And the menu, there was definitely healthy options everywhere we were at.
Well, I would have to argue that I have lost weight on cruises because I have stayed physically healthy, especially the European ones. I have eaten less carbs, more vegetables, healthier foods. It's what you choose. There's a whole menu, and I find that there's always healthy options on all the cruises I've been on. I don't think there's ever been a cruise where it's just been like hamburgers or french fries. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I will say that maybe some of the lower quality ones, it's a little bit more of a challenge. But Princess, and specifically the Sun Princess, I think you will be fine.
Yeah. For sure. Give me a guy's burger. After all that healthy talk.
That's the problem. We see all the healthy stuff and then we go to the junk and they're not so healthy.
Okay. So we'll call it there, but thank you. What a great discussion. I think all of you talked more than we did, which is great because I think this is an issue. We weren't sure about doing this topic. We're like, is it really a topic? But
we thought maybe, people would be like, we're being melodramatic, and we weren't trying to be melodramatic. We're just saying as we age, we start to see things, and our perspective changes a little bit.
So the takeaways if I put all these comments together, the takeaways is travel as soon as you can and as often as you can, and never stop. That's what the takeaway was from today.
Right. Absolutely. But make sure you have health insurance as you do it.
So next week, join us. We're going to talk all about group cruise.
Oh, yes.
Maybe we'll drop some hints about group cruises beyond the one that's coming up soon.
Oh, there's a heated debate going in Mr. and Mrs. Canucks house this weekend. It's between two cruises, and he wants one and I want the other. Who do you think's going to win, guys?
We've even debated having separate group cruises where you can cruise with Mr. Canuck or Mrs. Canuck.
I told him, okay, we picked two different cruises. One, and they both go around the same time. I'm like, you get on one ship, I'll get on the other ship. We'll see who comes with who.
Yeah. That's okay. That's fine because I've been looking to cruise by myself for a while, so that's just fine. My feelings won't be hurt. I know where all your loyalties are.
Oh, funny. Yeah, no. Anyways, it's the debate will continue, and hopefully we have a decision for you guys about that, because I know it's been the worst debate. We have been very undecisive. But anyways, thank you all for joining in, and if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done that also.
And we'll see you next Sunday for the last live that we're going to do before we go on our group cruise.
All right, bye.
Virgin cruise.
Bye for now. Everybody have a great week. See you next Sunday.
Bye-bye.